This is Boston Chris with another great episode of the ETX ROCKS Show.
Louise here.
D-Script.
Featuring all genres and styles of entertainment.
And coming to on the ETX ROCKS.
Let's hear it from Louise, please.
From the unheralded and unheard to the legends and beyond.
Out of the box with ETX ROCKS.
It's awesome.
We keep them coming.
$5, that's pocket change.
Well, hey, y'all, this is Hayley McDaniel. Are y'all ready for this?
ETX ROCKS Show is the greatest show of all time, okay?
We are ETX ROCKS.
The ETX ROCKS Show is the best show of all time, say? The other shows, you're good, you're real good. As long as we're around, you'll be second best, say?
Cut.
Hey everyone, this is Cody Joe Hodges, and you listen to ETX ROCKS.
Hello everybody, this is D Scribs from the ETX ROCKS Show. If you're a Texas country artist and need the absolute best in promoting your newest singles to the Texas radio, then Steen Entertainment is your ticket to radio exposure in Texas. They promote the best and up-and-coming talent to Texas radio, having worked with Jarazak and the OSR Band, Natalie Rose, Isaac Jacob Band, Jenny Del Lord, and many more. Steen Entertainment has dozens of hits on the Texas charts. Is yours next? Find more information at steenentertainment.com. That's STEEN, entertainment.com.
Hello there, music lovers. This is Hayley McDaniel talking to you on another really great episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. And of course, it's Hayley's Country Tuesdays. I've got a really, really, really awesome guest here. I am digging his new single. He is brand new to the Texas country scene, and he is already making some big waves. His name is Brian Christopher, and he fronts Brian Christopher and the Wild Oats. Now, he's a singer-songwriter and a multi-instrumentalist, born and raised in Austin, Texas, where he soaked up the music scene. So he spent the majority of his years with fronting alt-rock bands, and sometimes he'd moonlight as a guitarist or bassist in a couple of country acts. He's a natural songwriter. So he wrote all kinds of songs during his other portion of his career, but he often found that a lot of his songs he kind of pushed aside because they didn't quite fit the genre. Well, turns out we're the lucky ones because he fell in love with country music, and now he is making a really big splash in the Texas country scene. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Brian Christopher. How's it going?
Great, thank you.
Good. How was that intro? Did I do okay?
That was great. You made me sound good to myself.
You know what? You do sound good to yourself. Really,
Thank you.
I love your EP. And did you really? I mean, you mixed it, you produced it, you wrote. Is there anything that you don't do with music? That's pretty much the only question I have.
I don't master my own records.
Okay. Well, I was completely wrong about that. All right.
Well, yeah. So I've kind of been in the music industry for a while, and I've always been really interested in the recording part. The first band I was ever in, first serious, I guess, band I was ever in, I was 19, and we were signed to a local record label. It was called Cardinal Zen here in Austin, Texas. And I was super interested in it, and our producer and engineer that we had at that point in time that was doing the record for us, he had me sit in a lot of sessions and stuff because I was really interested in learning, and I kind of learned a bunch through him. He worked for Columbia in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, so it was very interesting, and so I learned a lot through that. So I've always kind of had like a little bit of a studio here and there, always varying in size and my abilities to record what. So so when I moved back to Austin, about a year ago. I'd been in Corpus Christi for the past few years, and I got back here, and I decided I wanted to pull out some of these old songs that didn't really have a home, and met up with a good friend of mine that I hadn't talked to in a while, Justin Martinez, who plays bass with us, and we just decided to maybe get a band together, put a record together, and so he had a friend, Jason Richards, and he has a little studio called Clockright Studio in South Austin, which is a great spot, and so we just kind of borrowed his gear in his room to record the drums and the pedal steel and the fiddle.
Wow.
And then we took the rest of it back to my place and did the rest of the record in my living room.
No way. Okay, so, I have some friends in Nashville, and every now and then somebody will say like, oh, we ran out of funding or whatnot for the EP, and we wrote this really great song, so we recorded it like in somebody's garage. And I always have the hardest time believing that. in the living room. That's where the rest of it was done. That's crazy to me. I mean, how does one figure out how to make that work? You gotta go in detail on that.
Well, it's really not that difficult, I use Pro Tools, and there's so much that you can do with digital recording now. It's just incredible. So, I mean, for instance, for the vocals, I just, you kind of use your ear. I was taught, by a guy that's, comes from the old school schooling, so I mean, you use your ear. You don't really use meters. So put a microphone up in the dining room. That didn't work. Put it in the living room. That didn't work. And so then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try in my closet. So I opened up the doors to my closet, hung some old blankets over it, so it was dead enough for do vocals, and that's how I did vocals. And then the guitars, we kind of wanted a little bit of a ring to the guitars, so I opened up the living room and set up the guitar and put a microphone in front of it. And that's
the best. Oh my God, I love that. That's awesome. So like, could you come over? I'm in Argyle, Texas, right outside of Dallas, and I'm needing some stuff done in the studio, but I got a living room and I got a closet, so I'm just saying, maybe
that's really all you need today. I mean, it's the
awesome.
main part. The main part that people don't realize is it's not really the room that you're recording in that's super important. It's the room that you're mixing in. That's more important. That's the room that really needs to be tuned. I mean, of course, there has to be a little bit of treatment and stuff in a room when you're recording your vocals and guitars, but that's the sound of that's always subjective. You can go into a super high-end studio that's got a super dead room to cut vocals because that's what they like to do, and then you go into another room and it's a little bigger and it's got a little bit of natural reverberation in that room and it sounds great.
This area of music, it's like you're speaking Chinese to me. So I mean, I'm fascinated by it, but I have no clue what any of that means. I'm just really glad that people like you exist, that you can figure out how to make really great music. So that's a plus.
And it just kind of comes from the fact that it's there's not a whole lot of money in the independent recording industry right now, so it comes as a necessity to me. It's like, oh, we want to record a record and we want it to sound great, but we have a very limited budget. What are we going to do? Well, we're gonna spend $3,000 on recording equipment and record a record instead of going to pay $10,000 to record a record and have somebody else do it. Not only that, but we still have the gear, so we got record number 2 all ready to go.
Yeah, it's perfect. But you have to admit, I mean, it's a blessing that you do have the ear and the natural God-given ability to do that. You know what I mean? Because I'm a songwriter, but I can promise you I have absolutely no idea how to do that. So
I like to say it's a good ear for it, but it's been a lot of work. There's a huge learning curve, and every time I do it, I feel like I do a better job. But I didn't wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, and like, okay, I'm gonna go make a great record. It's not not really how it worked.
Well, that makes me feel much better. I'm glad, because that wouldn't be fair. Okay, so let's talk about the songs. And actually, I have a question for you, because with so many different hats that you wear, as far as behind the scenes and in front of the mic, and everything that you have done to make the music, what's your favorite part of being? Do you like being an artist the best, songwriter? I mean, what's your passion, or is it kind of all of the above?
It's a good question. I think I feel at home in several aspects of it. I don't necessarily, like mixing my own records and doing that, just because of the fact that it's the song. So I start from the idea from a song, I write the song, I have to play the song all the time, and then I have to record the song, and then by the time I get down to mixing the song, I'm so sick of the song that I don't want to mix it, But I mean, I still love my songs; they're all my babies. But it's just when you just wrote the song, you've been testing the song out, playing shows and stuff like that, and you spend hours and hours recording it. It's like you need a break from it, but you're like, oh, I can't take a break from the song. I gotta put it out.
Right, exactly.
And so I have to say my favorite part of the recording process is getting sounds, miking drums or miking guitars or messing with guitar amps to make sure they sound really good. And I really like doing that kind of stuff. So that's my favorite part of that aspect. As for the playing and writing music, you're a songwriter. I'm sure sometimes you have those songs that you just sit there and they just come together, and the lyrics come together, and you're like, oh, this is just amazing feeling. This feels great. And then you know, a week later you're sitting there beating yourself with the head with a guitar because you can't figure out this chord that you want to put in the right place, and the lyrics are falling apart, and you're like, oh geez. So I like it when it comes together all nice and neat in a package for me, and then you know, I definitely it's kind of like people describe golf. It's like a love-hate relationship with songwriting.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like you go out and play golf and you shoot a great score and you want to go back, and the next time you go back and you're breaking your clubs and you never want to play again.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's so funny that you bring that up about how it would be so nice to have those really great songs that just, you know, show up with a bow and it's all pretty and perfect. And every now and then, I mean, lightning does strike and you do have those moments where it does come together really nicely. And then, like you said, other times it's, you know, it's a nightmare. Yes, I have half-written songs all over my freaking house, journaling under a bed, you know. But at the same time, if you could bottle it and make it happen easy, then I think it would really take so much out of it. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, I think so too. You know, there's definitely blood, sweat, and tears in songs that you can totally feel when the song's being put down. And you know, you definitely, you know, when you hear the songs that really hit you deep, you know, a lot of those songs I feel, you know, are probably tougher songs for writers to write, just because of the fact that it's, you know, it's cutting them pretty deep too, just to write it. So it might be a little emotionally overwhelming. You know, I've had songs like that to where I just, whether they're pouring out of me or not, I got to take a break, you know? But you know, I think those songs sometimes are the songs that take longer, you know. But you know, it's also kind of funny, you know, because, you know, if we talk about, you know, the record we just did, you know, songs like Ride With Me, our single, and Faustian Deal,
love that one, by the way,
and I Can't Complain, those all just flew. Like, Faustian Deal is probably one of the most wordy songs I've ever written, and I think I wrote all the lyrics in that in about 45 minutes.
What? That's probably one of my favorite. I think that might be my favorite track on the album, actually.
I think singer-songwriters really appreciate that song because it hits home. But I think that for some reason that was just one of the songs. It's just like I was kind of, you know, that's one of those songs that is completely real to me. You know, when I wrote that song, I was just so frustrated at the point. It's like I was writing this song and I couldn't write the words down on a piece of paper fast enough, you know?
Wow, yeah.
And then I Can't Complain is funny because that song was very similar too, and the fact that the lyrics just flowed to where when I wrote that song, that was one of the songs that I'd written after me and Justin had gotten together and started doing this thing. And I brought the song to rehearsal for everybody, and we realized it was a 7-minute song, and I had to cut over half the lyrics out of the song to make it work.
Yeah, I've never run into that problem, actually.
But then you take the next song, Flying Blind. That song took me forever to write. The lyrics just, it did not pour out. That song, it was like I had to get a line a day, and it took about 2 weeks to write, you know?
Well, I'm glad you stuck with it because it's also a really great song. Guys, you have to check out. Tell me again the title. The EP is Ride With Me, correct?
Yeah,
that's the title track.
And that's the title track as well.
Perfect. You guys have to check out Ride With Me. It's a really great introduction for you, I think.
We were thinking about. Typically when I do records, I usually do records. Like I'll, you know, write. We'll go into the studio with 17 songs or something like that and pick 10 or 12 that we're going to put on a record.
Right.
But so when we got ready to do this, you know, we had about 13, 14 songs, and you know, I've kind of been doing a lot of reading. You know, I haven't cut a record in a while, and you know, the industry's changed quite a bit just in the past 5 or 6 years. And you know, it's you know, people in the industry talking about, you know, for, you know, bands putting out their first debut, it doesn't really make sense to do a full-length album anymore.
That's what they say. It's crazy.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to see how this does. You know, this is the first time I've really done this. I put out an EP on one of my last bands, and that was kind of funny because it was just, I wasn't even planning on making it a band. I just had some songs together that I wanted to make an EP out of, and
I love that.
Then like the EP was already out before I even had a band, you know?
How funny. Yeah.
So this was just kind of a new deal. So we're gonna see how it works. I kind of like that it's smaller, but me personally being a music fan, when I put in a record that I get or something like that, I'm like, it's only 6 or 7 songs. I want more songs. And even listen to mine, after I finished it, I have to take a break for it. And I popped it in the other day and I was listening to it and I was like, where's the rest of it? I want more. But then I guess it's always good, leave the people wanting more.
Yes, absolutely. And that's honestly the truth. I think, when you're trying to, and you're not necessarily like, you're not crossing over. I don't want it to sound like that, but this is a new project for you. It's different from am I going to say this right? Is it different from anything that you've done before prior? I mean, you were in a different genre, so maybe,
Yeah, it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
I've it's not completely different, because other bands I'll obviously pick up an acoustic guitar on stage.
Absolutely.
It's not like I'm transferring from heavy metal to bluegrass or anything
Right.
like that. I'm going from kind of like a southern alternative rock kind of thing to a southern kind of Americana countryish rock kind of
Right.
thing now. And so it's not black and white different, but the difference is with this, we definitely introduced more of the country instruments. I had, like, for instance, on Ride With Me, I had to teach myself to play the mandolin part on that.
Okay, hold on just a second. Did y'all hear that? I just want to make sure everybody that's listening to this caught. He had to teach himself how to play mandolin, so he can put that. Do you know how frustrating that is for me? Yeah. Okay, I'm proud of you. That's really good. But how long did it take for you to learn how to play mandolin? It blows
Well,
my mind when people say stuff like that.
it's weird. One of my natural things that I was lucky with is I'm pretty good at picking up instruments. And it's not just because of the fact that I think that I'm, naturally good at picking up an instrument. It has to do with how my brain works. So
Gotcha.
I can relate instruments to other instruments. So when I pick up a mandolin, I look at it, it's like, okay, this is an upside down 12-string guitar that's missing the bottom 2 strings.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. And then the more of the work of learning it was actually being able to fit my fingers in those tiny little frets.
Right. How funny. That is, I just love that. And it's so completely opposite from what my natural abilities would be in music. It just always blows my mind. And it's funny when earlier when you were talking about your favorite aspects of the different hats that you wear within making the music, and you said something about tuning the mics and stuff. I instantly flashed to my producer Chad Molden, which he listens to the show. He was like a kid in a candy store when he's setting that crap up. I'm like, how is this cool? Like he loves that. It just cracks me up. It's so different.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like I think one of the most beautiful things in life is sound. I mean, there's definitely offensive sounds, like sirens and stuff like that I can't stand, but it's trying to capture the magic of a natural sound in the studio with a microphone and a preamp and to get it to come out of those speakers and just capture the magic that that originates from. And different mics and preamps capture different things. It's just like, I'm sure he's told you, if you go in the studio, one mic might sound like amazing on another person, and then you go in there and it's like, oh, this other mic sounds better on you. It's just,
I'm interviewing Chad Molden right now, actually. That's crazy. He literally said that. Yeah, we switched out mics a couple times. That's so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about the single. I mean, you guys are just a couple of weeks into releasing it to Texas Country Radio. It's already making some numbers on the charts. I saw you guys are, was it 120? You're easing up on the bubbling.
Yeah, it's 120 something. I haven't really I'm not too stoked about 120, but it's when it comes in, that's just what it comes in as. It's not has nothing really to do with what it's going to do. So I haven't been really paying too close attention to that. My attention right now has really been to try and promote the record right now. Honestly, the charts. The charts are the charts, and it's really cool to say, I'm getting high up on the charts and anything, but that's not what really means a lot to me. What means a lot to me is hearing feedback from people being like, I really enjoyed your record. That means more to me as a musician because I'm a fan myself, And there are records out there that I listen to, and I'm like, wow, this is the greatest thing I've heard in a long time, and it's not even on the charts, So
Exactly. Well, and I have a love-hate relationship with mainstream country, which I won't get on my soapbox, but it's you're exactly right. There's so many amazing. Some of my favorite albums have never been spun on any radio station, so I completely understand what you mean.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. It's the thing I like about the guys that I'm in the band with is we're musicians. We're not just musicians. We're fans of music. So it's like you will see us going out to shows, and you'll see us asking for autographs from people. You know what I mean? It's like we just love every aspect of it. And being on stage is cool too. Some people just love the stage, and I love being on stage too. But that's not my favorite aspect of it. Even though I love to perform and I love to bring live music to people.
Yeah.
But yet making the music, the creation of music, and the brotherhood that comes with working with new musicians and other musicians, co-doing projects together, and that's where my heart lies.
I love that.
And yeah, I just love to do that. I have a song that I wrote. Actually, we didn't put it on this one for some reason, because it's kind of a song that needs a little more work, and it's a duet that I wrote, and it'll probably be on the next one. But I'm searching for the perfect female to do the vocal with me, and the perfect everything.
Oh God,
but
me, I just got a little cough there.
Yeah, but it's cool, and songs like that, and that's what I do. I don't, when I make a record, I don't just, okay, we got 8 songs, we're gonna throw this 8 songs on the record, and that's gonna be the record. I don't do that. I hold songs like the song it's called I'll Miss You. And I wrote it in 2012 or 2013, and I haven't recorded it yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have like a demo of it that I listen to, and we actually play it live a lot. But I don't, it's just me singing it, so it's kind of weird if you actually listen to the lyrics. It's like, that dude's definitely singing a female part right now.
It's probably a good enough song that there's like, yeah, okay, but I like it still. So that's I find that really I find that very interesting. You are the second person that I've interviewed today that has talked about having a songwriter's heart and knowing the right time to put out a song and holding on to that song until it is ready. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of rushing in music. People are just, let's get it out, let's get it done, let's get it on the radio. And I think a lot of times you lose a lot of what could be a really cool time and place for a song by just trying to push it out there. So I think that's
I totally agree with that. I'm not really good at timing personally, of like knowing when, like, oh, this song's going to do well on the radio if I put it out now or anything like that. But I think about more when's the right time, when is the song going to hit the best, for listeners and stuff like that. And when is this song going to be ready? Ride With Me, I got lucky. Ride With Me was, I wrote Ride With Me when I was still in Corpus a few years ago. And that song was kind of like one of those ones that came out, and it was like, I was working all the time. I was actually working for FedEx at the time, and Corpus Christi, and it was during the winter, and during the winter, Christmas comes up. I was literally working from probably 7:30 a.m. is when I was going off to work when it was dark, and then work all day, maybe get like a 5-minute lunch break to pull over and eat my lunch that I packed for myself, and then work until 7 p.m. that night, come home, and that's 6 days a week, And so, one Sunday I just had off. I was just like kind of putting on my aggression, like, I just need to get out of the city for a little while. I need to do something, get on my own. And it kind of turned out that it just happens that's kind of an upbeat, kind of poppy song, and it just works out. And everybody I talk to that, musician friends, friends that have to do with radio, they're like, yeah, you need to push that for radio. And I was like, okay, cool.
It's a great song. It's very catchy. It's very well crafted, obviously, but it's super catchy. I love it. I think it's a really, really good introduction for what you're doing. I think it's great.
Now, I definitely know when I pick my songs that I'm going to push. It's when my musician friends call me up and be like, man, I cannot get that damn song out of my head. I hate you. And I'm like, okay, yep, that's going to radio.
Yeah. That is the best thing you could ever hear. I can't get it out of my head. Perfect. That's awesome. Okay, well, hold that thought. We've got a little bit more to talk about, but first, we are going to cut away to a quick commercial break. And guys, stay tuned for more from Brian Christopher of Brian Christopher and the Wild Oats right here on the ETX Rocks Show.
Hello, everybody. This is Rio Wallace, and I am inviting you all to come out to the store Everything That Blings whenever you get the chance, which should be very, very soon if you have not already stopped by. So yes, the discounts are still here. The fashion is still here. The exquisite jewelry, exquisitely priced. Whatever word my Spanish teacher tried to tell me. Anyway, so come on out. We are here from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday, and open 10 to 6 every Saturday. So come on out and we will joyously craft you with an outfit that will be outstanding.
All right, guys, welcome back to Hayley's Country Tuesdays right here on the ETX ROCKS Show. And of course, I've got my special guest with us this week, Mr. Brian Christopher of Brian Christopher and the Wild Oats. Are you still hanging in there, Brian?
I'm still here. Happy to be here.
Well, let's keep talking about this album. I want to hear more about the musicians that played, and so dive right in. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so this was really cool. So this is the first record that I've ever worked on. You know, I talked about, mandolin. I really wanted to kind of get the country and the kind of Americana instruments that I've never really used on records before. And, I got to it and I was like, okay, mandolin I can handle. But then, when it came to like fiddle and pedal steel and, organ, I was like, it's probably better to source that out. So we got Bob Vilwalk. We just mutual friends, and we got him through Jason, that had the studio, Clockwright Studios in South Austin. He played with a friend of mine's band, Roxy Roca. They're kind of like a funk band. But he's a really good organ player, and he came in and he did the organ on Ride With Me and Hangover. And then also Zach from Mike and the Moon Pies. He came and he played pedal steel on a few of the tracks. And he did a really good job. He played pedal steel on Flying Blind and Can't Complain.
So good.
And Home. He did the kind of really airy pedal steel background on Home, which was really cool. And then we also had Warren Hood. I don't know if you know who Warren Hood is, but he's a guy. He's my age. We actually went to same high school. We were freshmen together in high school, and his dad was Champ Hood. He's a super well-known fiddle player. But Warren Hood, he's played with everybody from Lyle Lovett to us. You know what I mean? Wow. He's pretty much done everything, and he just came in and he just smoked the fiddle. I mean,
he absolutely did. That's incredible. So how was that to just watch, all these really talented people just come in and there's just so much life in the fiddle, as soon as somebody picks it up and knows what they're doing with it and really jams it out. I mean, it's life,
It's funny, and it's funny too, because I'm such a fan. Like, I can't get over how much of a fan I am of amazing musicians. It's like, our guitar player, Kenny Ledford. I remember, we rehearsed with him and auditioned him to come play with us. And, he just blew our minds. It was like, wow, this guy's great. And I remember the first time we played with him on stage, sometimes, you have fun on stage, a solo run a little longer, or, some stuff's a little different sometimes. And, he got into this solo, and me and Justin both forgot that we were playing our instruments. We were watching, and we started messing up. So we were like, awesome. Oh, geez, this is awesome, And you just forget to play and forget where you're at in the song.
That's awesome.
And but it was like that with Warren Hood too. We're in the studio, and it's just his fiddle is singing, and I'm just blown away. And on Home, the song Home, there's actually, if you listen to it, it's I used my recording techniques or whatever. He pretty much just ran through that song a few times. And what I did is I just took it apart, and I just turned him into like pretty much a fiddle quartet.
Wow.
And he's just so good that it was easy to do. I could just I'll just put this part here, this part here. Oh, what do you know? If I put these 3 parts together, he actually did a 3-part harmony here on the fiddles. I can, work that. And it was just so simple. And it's funny because I had to play the bad guy for the first time in a long time in the studio because we had another fiddle player that was going to actually play on it. And he came in and we started on home. And he went through it a few times. I was like, man, you're a good player. You're just not the right player for this record.
Good for you. That's gotta be hard though, right? I mean,
it is. Yeah. And he was a young kid too, and it was really tough. And I think this was his first like real session,
Yeah.
Oh. And it was tough. And it's just, but that's how I learned. I said I played, lead guitar for a couple country bands here and there. And, I'd always been kind of a rock guy. And the first country band I ever got a gig with playing lead guitar, I got up there and it was a reality check. I was like, oh man, I need to go home and practice a little more, and I think any good musician that I know has had that in their life. And hopefully, that could have been that moment for him,
I hope so too. I hope it wasn't like, well, I think I need to find like a new passion or something.
No, I think if any passion you really like in life, you don't give up.
Never.
You know what I mean? You keep doing it. I mean,
always.
There's definitely been times that I've been on stage. Like I said, the first time, it's just like, man, it's like I was in way over my head. But I tell you what, I've never been on stage and over my head again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I make sure that I'm prepared.
I love it.
So I think every musician that I've ever talked to, or every good musician, definitely has at least one of those stories.
Absolutely. It's funny that you say that too, because I was just I was talking with a songwriter friend last night, and kind of feeling sorry for myself because as a songwriter, I'm constantly pitching stuff and constantly. I mean, I get rejected and criticized, and my heart like shattered. I think a song is perfect for somebody, and they're like, "Yeah, I hate it," whatever. And but you learn to have, I don't know, you take it in stride, you grow from it, you learn from it, and you grow a thick skin, because if it is your passion, then nothing that anybody can say can take it away from you. So I agree in that regard. So have you, as a songwriter, how does that play out? Do you typically just write for the projects that you're doing, or do you pitch to other artists, or
I really haven't. People have been telling me for a long time I should pitch to other artists. I've never done it though.
It's heart-wrenching. Just kidding.
Do what?
I said it's heart-wrenching. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, I think that, I mean, in any of the arts, any way you go, there's always going to be some sort of feel of rejection, because I mean, art is subjective. You know what I mean? So, what sounds beautiful to me might sound terrible to you, and vice versa. And I'm sure there's a middle ground that both of us completely love. It's like anything. I mean, for instance, painter like Picasso, I like his, figure drawing stuff, but when he got crazy, I'm not really into that,
That, yeah.
But, there's people that, love that stuff. So, I mean, art is completely subjective, and that's why I think that I don't let it get to me too much, because I do find things that, I'll find a song that just came out on the radio that, I am just absolutely in love with, and I think it's the greatest thing I've ever heard. And then, we'll be in rehearsal and Justin will be like, man, have you heard that new crappy song on the radio? It drives me crazy. And I'll be like, man, I love that song, So, and I mean, we're even in a band together. So, we have a lot of music tastes and influence that cross over, but, it's just, music is very subjective.
Yes, it is. It is. That's awesome. It's really fun to talk to somebody that is so passionate about the process, because a lot of our listeners tune in to hear the backstories and stuff. So I can't wait for everybody to hear the passion that goes into the music that is out on the radio. I mean, it's not just cutting a song and trying to, promote it. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of thought and a lot of heart that goes into it. So I appreciate you sharing all the backstories on that. So let all of our listeners at ETX Rocks know how they can find Brian Christopher. on
You
Facebook.
can find us. Actually, I did something right finally when I set up all of our media, social, website, and everything. Everything is BC Wild Oats. So we are bcwildoats.com, facebook.com/BC Wild Oats, Instagram, BC Wild Oats, Snapchat, BC Wild Oats, Twitter, BC Wild Oats. Everything's BC Wild Oats.
You guys heard it. That's about as simple as, I mean, I've done a lot of these interviews, and I think you're the first that has figured out how to simplify all that. So congratulations, you're a step ahead.
Yeah, I think that's the first time out of God knows how many bands or projects I've done that I've gotten that right.
Yes. You're already ahead. I love it. That's great. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck in 2017. Why don't you guys, if you're ever in East Texas or the Dallas area, we would love to have you on and do another interview with you and catch up and see how things are going in 2017. So we'd love to have you back on. What do you think?
I think I would love to. We're starting to book more shows now that this record's out. So once we get something booked up in the Dallas area, we will hit you up and be banging down your door.
Please do. You know where you need to look at. If you are familiar with, do you know Love and War in Texas? It's kind of a Dallas-Fort Worth music.
I have an old colleague of mine that plays those a lot, Kurt Baxley.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. My producer, Chad Molden, produces Kurt. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So back when he was in his rock days, I was in my rock days too, and we played shows together.
Yeah. Oh, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, our band was Underdriven, and his band was, I can't remember.
Okay, so basically what we need to do is get you guys down to East Texas. They have this brand new Love and War in Texas. They've got Cody Canada and Sonny Sweeney, and just a really, really great Texas country artists are making the huge trip over to East Texas to this tiny town because they basically transformed it to like a music mecca. So
what's it called?
Love and War in Texas, and it's the Lindale, Texas location. So they do like singer-songwriter nights. It's a really, really cool place. And then when you guys schedule, we'll get your old pal Kirk, and maybe you guys can reunite and play something on stage together. I don't know.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I don't even think I've talked to him in years, but he's definitely a super cool cat.
He is, and he's doing really well with this single as well too. So
he is. I've been looking at that. Yeah.
Maybe I'll play matchmaker and get you guys back together again. What do you think? That'll be fun.
That sounds cool.
All right. Well, it's so great talking with you, Brian, and of course, we love having up-and-coming musicians like yourself, and we can't wait to watch and see what happens with you guys in 2017. So,
thank you very much.
Of course, absolutely, anytime. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show for Hayley's Country Tuesdays, and we will see you guys next week on ETX ROCKS.
Hey guys, I'm Katie Lynn, and make sure to tune in to ETX ROCKS with
Boston Chris,
Darren Watson, ETX ROCKS.
ETX ROCKS, Alan Fox Band.
Hey guys, we're the Morning Madhouse. I'm Carter.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Ginger.
It's the best podcast ever made in all of history.
Hi, this is Paul Bebo, and ETX ROCKS with Boston Chris Barnes. You're gonna love it.
ETX ROCKS.
Hey East Texas, DP here. ETX ROCKS.
Hey East Texas, we're Enduring House, a Christian rock band.
ETX ROCKS!
Hey, this is Monty Pittman from ETX ROCKS.
Hey East Texas, Jaden Farnsworth, ETX ROCKS.
Hey everybody, I'm David McCarty with the Gypsy Creek Band. As always, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, this is Chris Colston. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
To the ETX ROCKS Show.
The ETX ROCKS Show.
Ho! Hey folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I just want to make sure you support local music.
Hi East Texas, this is Chris Wayne.
And Crystal Clark with KYKX 1057, ETX ROCKS.
Hey East Texas, we're Lady Chaz and the Tramps. And just remember, ETX ROCKS.
Hey, this is Tom Freeman of ETX ROCKS with Boston Chris.
Hey, East Texas, I'm Waylon Hicks. And remember, ETX rocks.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the one and only SP and Mexicano con Estilo. Make sure to support your local music, and ETX rocks.
Hello, we're one way home.
Hey, East Texas, this is Teaser.
Please continue to support local music.
And always remember, ETX rocks!
Howdy folks, this is Aaron Watson. Support local music and ETX rocks.
Hey, this is Chris Colston. Make sure you support local music and
ETX rocks.
Hey, this is Hannah Kirby. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Tough guy, ho!
Covering music-related content of all genres. If it filters through Eastern Texas, it's fair game. Y'all bring it. From Texarkana down to the coast and Dallas down to Houston and everything in between. We are ETX Rocks!
Hit the brakes!